Hi everyone, welcome to our video. Today I invited an audiologist from Eduplex to discuss the Roger Focus with us, because we have had the product on our platforms and we discussed and asked questions and wondered about this product. But I know that there are a few of us that maybe don't really understand what its function is, and I decided to ask Marelize today, our audiologist from Eduplex, to just explain a bit more detail about what this product provides. Marelize, welcome on our video. Our Roger Focus.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Johanni, for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to chat to you and just get the information out in the open and really help parents, to make decisions and understand what this product can provide. So Marelize, I want to just jump in and ask you, so what exactly is the Roger Focus?
Okay, so the Roger Focus is an assistive listening device. So it's basically something that helps you to listen. It is not a hearing aid, so it doesn't amplify the environmental sounds, or it doesn't amplify somebody just talking to you. It's specifically designed for educational needs. So the Roger Focus consists of two components, a transmitter and a receiver. So basically what it does is it transmits a teacher or a speaker's voice directly to a child's ears, thereby eliminating background noise, eliminating things like the distance from the teacher, and then reverberation or echo in the classroom. So you all know that classrooms can be very noisy, and there aren't a lot of carpets, etc. in the room. So all of those things contribute to poor listening scenarios. And that means that the signal to noise ratio is very bad. So the signal that the child receives in the classroom is poorer if there's noise or echo, or even the further you are from somebody, the worse the signal gets. Okay, so in essence, it helps the child to focus on the teacher's voice, because the teacher wears this transmitter around her neck. The child wears something that looks similar to a hearing aid, but it's very small. And then when the teacher speaks, it makes it louder in that child's ears. But it doesn't eliminate all the noise. This child still has normal hearing often. They just have auditory processing problems or attention difficulties. So this product helps them to focus in the classroom and to catch what the teacher is saying, because the teacher's voice is then louder than all of the background noise. But they can still hear their friend speaking or answering. It doesn't block their ears. So often parents are worried that if they put something in their ears, it's actually blocking the sounds from the normal classroom and normal conversation. But it's not like that. It doesn't happen. They can still interact with their peers. What the Roger Focus also does that's very cool is it adapts to the noise. So it will never go too loud that it damages your child's hearing, because it only amplifies it 10 decibels above the rest of the noise. So it measures the sound level in the classroom and then adapts that signal so that the teacher's voice is always clear.
Wow. It's very nice to get all of that information, because I think when you look at a product, you kind of try to fill in the gaps for yourself, but you don't really know what it does. And I myself have come into contact with suggestions from speech therapists and audiologists, suggesting the product, but I think I never thought, how would it work? And, is it so very expensive that I won't be able to afford it? So I think if we can maybe fill in those gaps for the watchers or our viewers, do you think, because I know that speech therapists, they suggest this, right? So they would suggest it to certain children, not to every child, but to certain children, they would suggest it. is it something that's accessible, if you know what I mean, or is it very expensive and there's a certain procedure you need to follow? How do you usually suggest to parents, how do you, acquire a product like this, or how do you implement it?
Okay, so this product is basically sold or developed by Phonak in Switzerland, okay? And the Haas Group is the only importers of this specific product, okay? And so this is available at any of the ear institutes across South Africa. So we have different ear institutes in Bloemfontein, in Bellville, in Ballito, in Polokwane. So basically we are around the country, and in Pretoria, obviously, Johannesburg, Rosebank. We have a lot of different branches where you can knock for help. Okay, so if a speech therapist suggests this product, or they suggest something, often the speech therapists call it a FM system. Okay, so that's the older technology or the older name for it, but a lot of speech therapists still, because it uses frequency modulation like a radio signal, basically, they still speak about an FM system. Okay, but the Roger is the new adaptive modulation system. So it's a newer technology, and that's where the sound level measuring, etc., also comes in. Because previously it would just amplify it by 10 to 12 dB, and the audiologist would set it, and that's it. Now with the adaptive technology, it's much better. So because then you get a clearer signal most of the time. So basically, if a speech therapist suggests this, you would go to an audiologist. So they would first of all do a hearing test to make sure that your child actually has normal hearing, and that the delay in speech or the hearing issue or the processing issue is not from an actual hearing loss. Okay, so step one should be excluding a hearing loss if you want to fit this product. Then, if your child has normal hearing, but they still have these difficulties, then they qualify for the Roger system. And the speech therapist, if your child is 6 to 7 years old, actually the audiologist, they can also do a test in the soundproof booth, where you test in noise, where you test signal coming from different speakers, and really making sure what your child's problem is. Is it location? Is it speech in noise? Is it the way that they hear the digits? They can't remember auditory memory, etc. But this, unfortunately, this test is only available in English. So that's why we want the children to be a little bit older before they complete this test, because it's a standardized test. It's CD that they, or MP3 these days actually, that they listen to and then react to the different sounds. Obviously, if your child has a big problem before that age, then you can do a trial, a Roger focused trial, which means that you get this device and you try it out for 2 weeks. And then the teacher or the parent, if it's a small child that's still in nursery school, can then decide if it does make a difference to their quality of life and to their education and their access to sound. So luckily, it's not a permanent solution that you need to implant or something like that. It's something that you can also try out and see how it works before you commit to buying the product. So then you, the teacher will fill out a questionnaire before the time without the devices. For 2 weeks, the child would wear the devices and note any improvements, note any situations that they actually feel that the product is benefiting them. And then after 2 weeks, they can make an informed decision about purchasing this product. And yes, it is a bit expensive, but it's something that lasts for quite a long time. It's not something that you need to replace every year or upgrade every 3 years. It's a product that can last your child quite some time.
And then I've heard previously with the FM system that you could actually rent the product as well. Is that still available or not really? Was it available?
I'm not sure about that. It might be that some audiologists do offer a renting system. At the Ear Institute, they do a loaner basis for the trial, but I'm not sure if there's a rental agreement with that. I'm not sure.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So I was just wondering. Okay, so
Yeah.
I want to know then, I think there might be a bit of a also uncertainty about, so how would it work? Children that are younger, obviously you can control the environment a bit more than a child that's a bit older, maybe ADHD, autism, whatever, that's got really the sensory processing disorders, and they really need this. But now there's a bit of a maybe an image, attached to this, because now I'm the only one in the class, even if it's a special needs school, but I'm the only one in the class that needs to wear the Roger. Do you have, like, there's only specific ages that really uses the product? When they're older, they don't really use it anymore? Or how does that pan out?
Like everything, yes. If a child gets glasses as well, there's a certain stigma towards it. If a child has a problem speaking, there's a certain stigma towards it. So yes, obviously we get that with the Roger Focus as well. Luckily, with the Bluetooth technology and everybody wearing earpods and such, hearing devices are getting much cooler, if I can say that. And if your child has a touch mic, you can actually attach that to the phone as well, and it can stream from the phone to the Roger Focuses, and they can use it as a type of earphones as well. Okay, so if you want to spin it in that way for your teenager, obviously anything helps. We at the school at Eduplex, we're quite strict. If we know that a child needs that, they don't get away with not wearing the devices at school because they get demerits. But we do need the parents' input as well. Okay, so it doesn't help that the parents fork out all the money and then the child doesn't wear it. So it's a lot of counseling with regards to, yes, you need it, yes, you need to wear it. And for the older grades, it gets a bit difficult because you need to work on self-advocacy as well. Because a child might need to take their transmitter and give it to the next teacher and say, ma'am, would you please wear this? I can't hear without it. Okay. So you also need to educate the teachers of the benefits and then self-advocate for your child as well, to say, like, empower them and say, listen, you must remember to take the transmitter and give it to the next teacher. Okay. Or if the teachers are, now COVID times, everything's difficult. So if the teacher moves out of the class and a new teacher comes in, she needs to give the transmitter over to that teacher. Okay. Obviously, you just sanitize it quickly in these day and age. But you need to teach your child the benefit, and they need to see the benefit, because then they can take ownership of their devices. And as I said, it's like glasses as well. You have to take ownership of putting them on when somebody writes on the board, etc. And teaching their friends about the devices as well, teaching them why we need to know she doesn't have a hearing problem. No, he isn't deaf, for instance, not labeling it like that. It's just an assistive listening device.
Okay. Yeah, it makes lots of sense. But it's nice to just think about it that way, like glasses. This thing is really going to help me. So we educate, we talk, we make plans, we make it practical for that child to understand, but this is really going to help you. Do they use the Roger at home as well, a lot? Or is it only in the classroom settings that they actually use it?
Most of our children only use it in the classroom setting.
Okay.
So they don't even need to take it home if there's a safe space at school that they can charge it, and they've got extra batteries at school, so that they can change the batteries, etc. They don't need to wear it at home. No. When the children are younger and they're still learning language, etc., then some people like that they wear it in the car, for instance. So if you're driving, then the child at the back can hear you clearer than the radio and the noise in the car. Or I know that in other countries, they suggested for small children to improve their language because the mom is pushing a stroller and they don't have that visual need as well, or that visual input as well. So only the auditory. And it doesn't make them lazy to hear, because obviously you're not going to wear it in the bath and all of the other times. So that's one of the things that we still, your child, if your child needs a device like that, it's not a fix. It's an assistive device. They still need to learn to listen. They still need to get taught strategies like chunking words together, segmenting and blending, and all of those things that the speech therapist still teach them. Because wearing the device, it's not going to fix the problem. It just aids towards making it easier. You still need to teach them those strategies.
And then I think to end off today, Marelize, I want to ask you, what is your favorite benefits of this device? The things that you've seen, or the testimonies that you've guys got and say, it really improved this person's functionality, or whatever. What was the things that you really love about the benefits that it provides?
The ease of use. Anybody can use this. It's not a complicated system. It's not some out of this world technology that you need to pair things and you need to make sure everything works and everything is attached and this thing is attached to that thing. It's really, it's like a plug and play, if you can say that. You've got your transmitter, you've got your receivers, and it works. Okay. The quality of the sound is really amazing. I often put some Roger focuses on my ears, and then just to check the classroom technology as well. And just the ease of listening, it makes it so much easier to listen to what is important. Because even I sometimes struggle with the children in the classroom and focusing on what the teacher's saying and just trying to focus what the technology is doing, etc. Just that quality of sound also makes it very good. Then we've had a lot of children that have been wearing it since the preschool, like grade 0, etc. And the parents have commented on how much clearer their children's own speech gets because they can hear better now. They've got this input of language. They're not missing out on so much in the classroom. They can actually go home and say, this is what the teacher said. This is my homework for the day. Yeah. Where often they would miss out on those types of things. So it just makes it easier for the children. It makes it easier at home. It makes it easier for the teacher to make sure that that child is supported the way that they should be supported. And with this device, because you're cutting out distance, this child doesn't get labeled that they always need to sit in front. They're the naughty child that needs to sit in front, and teacher needs to check that they can hear. They can actually sit anywhere in the classroom because the device streams to their Roger focus. If they can show that they can work independently, they don't need to sit in the front because they can't hear properly.
Wow. Yeah, no, that sounds very good. It makes so much sense what you're saying. And I'm sorry that I haven't used it before, that we actually made a plan to get one, because for my teenage son, I think he would have benefited so much in the classroom setting, just the relief of knowing that he knows what's happening in the class. Because I think there's so much tension that develops if, every day that goes past, you're missing stuff, if it's either math or it's homework or it's, task, things that they have to remember and bring home and make sure that they don't miss anything. sometimes I think we don't realize how much they miss because of auditory processing, and this really clears it up.
So one of the other things that parents are often worried about is that their child is already, if it's a child that has sensory issues, that they get overloaded with this sensory input, okay? But we found that some children that are hypersensitive to sound, it actually helps them because it's not so much input. It focuses the input for them. So then it's one input that they can concentrate on, and it's not all of the noise around them. So even if they are hypersensitive to sound, sometimes the Roger devices help them to focus on what the important stimuli is and not just get irritated by everything around them because they are so sensory overloaded by the sound that's coming in.
Thank you so much for your time, Marelize. It was really nice speaking to you and getting all the relevant information about the product. So say someone now decided, okay, I want to start this. I want to see if my child can maybe benefit from this product. Who do they phone, or where do they go?
So the easiest is to contact the Ear Institute. So whichever Ear Institute branch is close to you, just make an appointment at your audiologist, say that you've heard about the Roger focus devices, you want more information, you want to get your child tested, you want your child to see if they want to do a trial maybe for your child, make an appointment, take that step and do it. It might just be the answer that your child needs.
For sure, for sure. And then what I'll do is I'll put the links in this video's description so that anyone that needs to find the number, it should be easy to just follow that route. Thank you, Marelize. I hope we'll speak again soon.
It was a big pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity. Have a nice day, Johanni.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.